Hello all, welcome to the domain of accounting. In this lecture, you will get introduced to the subject namely Management Accounting 1. People call this as MANAC 1 or Financial Accounting or Financial Reporting and Analysis or Corporate Financial Reporting and Analysis. Different institutions call this subject differently. We will have answers basically to 4 questions, starting with what is a balance sheet, why do we prepare it, what are the contents of it, what is an income statement, why do we prepare it, what are the contents of it, what is the linkage between the balance sheet and income statement, and in the last question you will have an introduction to performance assessment in accounting. So the very first question, what is a balance sheet? Before we answer this question, let's look at how a balance sheet look like. The balance sheet of so and so company or entity as on, otherwise people call it as of that particular date. Balance sheet is relevant only on a particular date. So I have written 31st March 2020. It is expressed in terms of currency. It's a common unit of measurement. Here I have written in INR crores. So the left hand side of the balance sheet describes the assets owned by the entity, which are subdivided into 2 types, namely current assets and non-current or fixed assets, which is going to give the total, that is your total assets. The right hand side of the balance sheet talks about 2 major items in accounting, namely liabilities and owner's equity. Liabilities are divided into 2 types, namely current liabilities and non-current or long-term liabilities. And the last item is owner's equity. If you put the total on the right hand side, it is total of L and OE. Okay, so this is how the balance sheet looks like. So please have a look at. Some of you may feel or may ask me that in Indian companies the assets are written on the right hand side and liabilities and owner's equity are written on the left hand side. Whereas I have taken the other way, right? So that means assets are given on the left hand side, liabilities and owner's equity are given in the right hand side, right? So have I made any error? No, it does not matter because of something called accounting equation. Okay, so every accounting student should first start with this, right? So it is an equation in accounting which says at any point of time every organization, right, should balance the total of assets with that of the total of liabilities and owner's equity. So that means A, that is assets, is equal to L plus OE, that is liabilities and owner's equity. So that means left hand side is equal to right hand side, right? So that means why this statement is called balance sheet. Let's go back. Why do you call it as balance sheet? We call it as balance sheet because the total of the left hand side should always be equal to the total of the right hand side, right? Why is it? Because of accounting equation, right? That means it is called balance sheet because the total of one side is always equal to the total of the other side unless and otherwise the accountant has made an error. Okay, so this is what accounting equation. Right from this minute onwards, whatever we are going to talk about in accounting, we are definitely going to relate with accounting equation. So you should have this in your mind. Assets are equal to liabilities plus owner's equity. So why do we prepare balance sheet? In order to know the financial position of an entity. Financial position, what is it, right? So that is a question in your mind, right? So financial position is nothing but assets, liabilities and owner's equity. We would like to know what are the assets owned by the entity, what are the quality of assets owned by the entity, what are the liabilities owed by the entity, what are the problem with the liabilities, right, of the entity. We also want to know what is the owner's stake in the business, right? So that means when I say financial position, I talk about all these 3, right? I want to know about assets, I want to know about liabilities, I want to know about owner's equity, right? So the next question comes down to you is this: what are assets, right? What are assets? For example, we hear in our day-to-day conversation, right? He is a great asset. She is an asset to the family. He is an asset to the organization, right? So what are assets? Assets are basically economic resources which are owned by the entity which have future benefits. Okay, so this is what an asset, right? It should be a resource which is owned by the entity which has future benefits. That means benefits are not yet over, which are owned by the entity, right? Can you think about some examples for assets? Examples are these, right? Land, building, cash, inventories, right? All these things are examples for assets. Let's move ahead. What are the different types of assets? There are two types of assets, namely current assets and non-current or fixed assets. The next question is, what are current assets? Current assets are economic resources which are owned by the entity which have future benefits up to longer of 1 year or one accounting cycle, right? The maximum life is only 1 year, okay, or one accounting cycle, okay. What are the examples for that? Cash, inventories, accounts receivable, right? So these are all examples for current assets. So that means resources owned by the entity which are going to give benefit to the entity for the next 1 year or one accounting cycle, whichever is longer, is called current assets. So that means assets with short term life, right? Yeah. Let's move ahead to the next type of asset. What are non-current or fixed assets? Economic resources owned by the entity that have benefits beyond one accounting year or accounting cycle is called fixed asset or non-current asset. What are the examples for that? Property, plant and equipment. We call it as PPE. Property, plant and equipment, right? Property means land, plant means the entire campus, equipment is your machine, right? So this is an example for non-current asset because the life is beyond 1 year. That means the benefit is going to exceed 1 year, right? The other example for non-current asset is long-term investment. So that means we have excess cash, we have invested in other business or other assets, okay, so which are beyond 1 year life is called non-current asset, right, which is coming under the heading of long-term investments. The next question is, what are liabilities? Liabilities are financial obligations to outsiders for transactions that have already taken place, okay. Example, right, types of liabilities are current liabilities, non-current or long-term liabilities. What are, right, current liabilities? Financial obligations of the firm which are to be settled within, right, longer of 1 year or one operating cycle, right, or one accounting cycle is called current liability. What are the examples for that? Accounts payable. What does it mean? We have purchased material or inventory but we have not yet paid the vendor, which is called accounts payable, right? We have to pay within next 1 year, right? Otherwise he will not supply the material in the next period, right? So this is what, right, accounts payable. It is an example for current liability. Then accrued or outstanding wages and salaries. We have not yet paid salaries and wages to our workers, right? So which is called accrued wages, otherwise known as outstanding wages, otherwise known as wages payable or salaries payable. The next example for current liability is accrued utilities. The next example is accrued or outstanding taxes. And the last example I have given here is short-term bank loans, right? Which is otherwise known as working capital loans, right? All these are called current liabilities. Why? They are obligations to outsiders which need to be settled within a maximum of 1 year or one operating cycle, whichever is longer, right? So this is what your current liability. Next. The next one is, right, non-current liabilities, which is otherwise known as long-term liabilities, right? How do we define this? These are all financial obligations to be settled by the entity beyond 1 year or one accounting cycle, right? Current liabilities are within 1 year or one accounting cycle, whereas long-term liabilities, right, go beyond 1 year, okay. What are the examples for that? Term loans from banks, okay. So for example, the company borrows from ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, right? So this is coming under term loan, right? bonds or debentures issued by the firm which are having maturity period beyond 1 year, right? So this is what an example for, right, long term or non-current liability, right? So that's it, that's about balance sheet. So that means we discuss about balance sheet, what it is, accounting equation, why it is called a balance sheet, and then we were talking about assets, types of assets, current assets, non-current assets, liabilities, okay, current liability, right, and then long-term liability, owner's equity, right? So could you please go back? Yeah. So owner's equity, right? So what is this? Owner's stake in the business, right? Which consists of two elements, namely capital plus retained earnings. Okay. Earnings means profit. Retained earnings means profit retained by the entity right from the first day of its existence till the date of preparation of the balance sheet, right? If you add these two, that is capital and retained earnings, that gives you total owner's equity. That means how much is the stake of the owner in the business. That's what your owner's equity, right? So that means we have discussed about all the elements of a balance sheet, right? Yeah. I take you to the next financial statement, guys, wherein we are going to talk about income statement, right? Income is nothing but profit. So sometimes people call this statement as profit and loss statement. In India, people call this as profit and loss. Okay, an entity cannot have both profit and loss at the same time, right? Either profit or loss, it's either or. But conventionally, the statement is known as profit and loss statement, so we continue to use that. Please mind, accounting is a language, right? So that means we keep doing what is being practiced, right, till now. Okay, so that means there is no science here, it is basically a practice. Okay, so that means income statement of so and so entity for the period ending, right, on, for example, I can write again 31st March 2020. Okay, it is again expressed in currency. Here it is INR crores. So we have revenues here, which is otherwise known as top line, For example, in newspaper you see news items saying that top line of this company, right, has increased by 20%, 50%, things like that. Okay, so if we are talking about top line, we have to definitely talk about bottom line, right? That bottom line is nothing but PAT, profit. Okay, there are different variants of profit, we will be talking about that in the future videos, right? So right now you please make note of this, right? Bottom line refers to the last line item in your income statement. Each item is a line. Okay, so it's a row, we call it as a line item. So revenue is the topmost line item, so that's why we call it as top line. Profit after tax is the bottommost, right, line item, so we call it as bottom line, right? So in between these two we have expenses, right? That means revenues earned by the entity, if you subtract expenses from that, what you are getting is profit or surplus, which is otherwise known as bottom line, right? Yeah, so I take you to the next, right, topic. So we want to know, is there any difference between revenues and other income? Okay, yes, there is a conceptual difference. You should be very clear about this, right? When I say revenue, it refers to increase in retained earnings caused by operating activities. The most important words here are this: increase in retained earnings, something which increases your retained earnings, right? Opening balance of retained earnings, right? If it is going to be increased by an activity, it can be a revenue, provided it is caused by operating activities. Okay, example is sales revenue. Okay, what is the next item, right? Other income. Other income is what? Increase in retained earnings caused by non-operating activities. Whereas when you talk about revenue, you are talking about operating activities. Okay, whereas if you are going to talk about other income, you are talking about non-operating activities, right? Example for other income are these two: interest earned on investments in other firms, capital gain on sale of non-current assets. That means, for example, you purchase land, purchase price, assume 20 crores, and sale price, right, you have sold that, right, assume it is 40 crores. So it means the capital gain here is 40 minus 20, 20 crores. This is coming under other income. Okay, of course you have to pay tax for that. So that means it's a pre-tax income, that is 20 crores, right? So that's what your other income. It's not happening because of your operating activity, because your business is not in real estate. You are not DLF. You are not going to buy and sell land. For example, you are a retail firm. You are going to buy materials from the suppliers and you are going to sell it to your consumers, right? You are a pharmaceutical firm. You are a bank. So that means your main activity is different. Your core activity is different, which is known as operating activity. For example, if you are a bank, your main activity is what? You are going to, right, get deposits from your customers, and you are going to borrow from other financial institutions, and then you are going to lend money to your customers, right? That is basically companies, right? So that means your business is not about buying and selling land or real estate. In that case, if you are going to get gain, capital gain, by way of selling a piece of land you owned, right, for a profit of 20 crores, it's not coming under operating revenue, rather it is coming under non-operating revenue, which is otherwise known as other income, right? So that means both revenue and other income increase retained earnings. That is a similarity. The only difference is revenue is caused by operating activities, whereas other income is caused by, right, non-operating activities. So later on we are going to do financial statement analysis. So when we do that, we are not going to give more emphasis on non-operating, right, income. We are going to give more emphasis only on the operating revenue. So right from the beginning we should have this difference, right? So please think about that, right? For example, in case of individuals like you and me, right, we are earning salaries, that is our operating revenue. We are also getting other income. For example, we may be having a fixed deposit in other bank, right? So we may be getting interest on that. So that is coming under other income. We may be selling an asset for a gain, capital gain. So that is coming under other income, right? We may be having, right, house, we would have, right, rented it out. So that means we may be getting rent, right? That is coming under other income, right? So this is what you have to understand, right? So when I am going to evaluate an entity, the most important thing is operating revenue, not the other income, right? Yeah, I move ahead. I take you to the next important question. The core of the, right, accounting lies on this, right? What are the ways in which a company can recognize revenue, right? So I'm just introducing these to you guys. We are going to discuss about all these things in detail, right, later on. Okay, so there are basically 4 methods available. The first one is delivery method. That means the moment the product is delivered, you can recognize revenue. Example is Amazon. In this COVID-19 period, all of us are getting things, right, through Amazon, right? So that means Amazon can recognize revenue the moment it delivers the goods or the ordered items to the customer, right? So this is what delivery method. That means the revenue is recognized upon delivery. The second one is percent of completion method, right? Normally it is used in long-term contracts. So wherein the guy who is providing the service will recognize revenue according to the percentage of completion. And the third method is installment method, right? We are all living, right, with a life of EMI, okay? So that means we buy white goods, right? Refrigerators, washing machine, right? 2-wheelers, 4-wheelers, house, right? Home, right? So for all those things we have to go for making installments, right? So that means those companies which are selling products on installment basis can recognize revenue upon collection of installment from the customer on a periodic basis, right? And the last method is production method, right? That means we are talking about, right, industries which are dealing with natural resources. For example, a coal mining company, a company which is dealing with mining gold, right, or petroleum exploration companies, right? So they can go about recognizing revenue based on production method. Of course, agricultural entities can recognize revenue based on production method, right? So you need to know little bit about this at this point of time. So I'm just introducing you to all these methods. This is the core of accounting, as I told you. One very important topic we are going to discuss about in accounting is this. So we are going to talk about this little later, right? Yeah, I move ahead to the next topic. What is the difference between expenses and losses? Expense is decrease in retained earnings. Loss is also decrease in retained earnings. It is similar for both. So that means both expense and loss decrease retained earnings. Then what is the difference? When you talk about expense, it is caused by operating activities. The decrease in retained earnings is caused by the operating activities. Examples are salaries and rent. When you talk about loss, the decrease in retained earnings are caused by non-operating activities. Example is capital loss, right? So that means you are selling a piece of land for a loss, then it is coming under loss. You have a fire accident, okay, or this COVID-19 has created more losses, right? So that means what? It is coming under loss. It's not caused by operating activities. It is caused by, right, items which are beyond your control, right? Yeah. So I move ahead. Third question. What is the linkage between balance sheet and income statement? Okay. So first we have to prepare the income statement. Okay, let me give you an illustration so that you understand this better. So we'll start with revenue. Let us assume everything is in terms of crores, INR crores. Revenue of the firm for that period is 10,000 crores. Expenses excluding tax for the firm is 8,000 crores. That means profit before tax, which we call it as PBT, is 2,000 crores. Assume a tax rate of 50% on your PBT. That means 50% on 2,000 crores gives you tax of 1,000 crores. So that means you are left out with PAT, otherwise known as net income. Net income, right, of 1,000 crores. Okay. Now the entity has to prepare the balance sheet for the same period. So asset side we are not going to talk about because they are not getting affected by this PAT. But we will go to the other side, that is L and OE, liabilities and owner's equity. Every amount is expressed in INR crores. Current liability, long-term liabilities are not getting affected by this PAT. So we will straight away go for owner's equity, which consists of two elements I told you while we were talking about balance sheet. The first one is capital, assume that is 4,000 crores. The next one is retained earnings. Assume the opening balance of retained earnings for this period is 2,000 crores. That means at the end of the previous year, so that means 31st March 2019, the retained earnings of the firm was at 2,000 crores. And the company has earned a PAT of 1,000 crores for this period, right? So simply add that with your opening balance of retained earnings, right? So that means opening balance of retained earnings plus PAT minus dividend or drawings gives you what is your closing balance of retained earnings, right? So how much it is? Why don't you guys calculate this? 2,000 crores plus 1,000 crores minus 500 crores gives you closing balance of retained earnings of 2,500 crores. Closing balance of retained earnings plus capital will give you what is the total of owner's equity. That means ending balance of owner's equity. Okay. So that means what is the relationship between income statement and balance sheet? If you ask this question, the answer is very simple. The PAT or the net income is the output of income statement, which becomes the input for your balance sheet in the computation of owner's equity. Okay, right? So we have just added, right, opening balance 2,000 crores. With that we have added, right, transfer to retained earnings, that is 1,000 crores. Suppose if there is a loss of 1,000 crores, then what you would have done? 2,000 crores opening balance of retained earnings, we will not touch upon capital. We will start with opening balance of retained earnings 2,000 crores minus net loss of 1,000 crores minus dividend of 500 crores. So that means 2,000 minus 1,500 will give you 500 as your closing balance of retained earnings plus capital will give you what is the total owner's equity of the firm, right? Guys, this is the most important item in your financial statement, right? Okay, this is the number which is very, very significant for us in terms of reading the financial health of the company, right? So that means this is the most important item you need to have in your mind. In fact, I will say this is the purpose for which the business is existing, right? If you ask a question, why are we doing business? I will say accounting wise, you have to generate more, right, owner's equity for the entity, right? How can you do that? You have to generate more profit. How can you do that? You have to generate more revenue. You have to increase this, as much as possible. And you have to decrease the expenses as much as possible, increase revenue as much as possible, decrease expenses as much as possible, thereby generate more profit for the entity, right? More the profit, more is the amount of retained earnings, right? More is the amount of retained earnings, more is the accounting value of the business, right? Yeah. So this is what you need to understand, right? Yeah. I take you to the last one, right? I want to introduce you all to the performance assessment in accounting. Okay, please understand the objective of this course. The objective of this course is not to make you accountants. Okay, there are people who got specialized in that. They are very much clear about the rules for bookkeeping as well as the practices of bookkeeping, right? You are not going to do that. You are going to be a manager, so that means you are going to take decisions. Okay, so that means you need to make an assessment about the performance of a manager, okay, who is working under you. For example, you may be having two managers working under you, two branch managers, okay, one is in Lucknow, other one is in Delhi. You want to know which manager has done better in the last period, accounting period, right? So that means you are going to prepare a balance sheet, opening balance sheet, you are going to prepare a closing balance sheet, you are also going to prepare an income statement for the company or for that entity, right, or for that branch. So that means for both branch managers you are going to prepare two statements, okay, two set of statements, balance sheet opening, ending balance sheet, and your income statement. And then you need to conclude now. That is where manager is going to play a role. Okay, so there are n number of parameters that are available for that. I won't be able to introduce everything to you in this introductory video, so I just open your eyes to this topic, right? So that means what am I going to do is, if I am going to look at the performance assessment criteria in accounting, I have a choice now. I can do that using data only from the income statement of the company for that period, right? So that means the very first thing I can do is I can go for something called pre-tax return on sale, pre-tax ROS, return on sale, okay? Otherwise people call it as PBT margin, profit before tax margin, PBT margin, right? So what is this PBT margin? How can you compute this, guys? PBT margin is nothing but profit before tax in currency. In India it is INR, divided by net sales in INR, multiplied by 100. It's a percentage term, right? So that means for every 100 rupee of sales revenue, how much is the profit before tax that is earned by the firm? That is the question here, right? Higher the better, right? Isn't it? So that means if it is 200%, right, compared to 100%, right, then 200 is better than 100, okay? 100 is better than 50, isn't it? So that means higher the better. What is the next one you can do? Post tax return on sale, ROS, otherwise known as net income margin, right? Otherwise known as PAT margin, right? So what is the formula? Profit after tax in currency. In India it is INR crores, divided by net sales revenue, multiplied by 100 will give you what is your PAT margin, right? So that means higher the number, better is the performance, right? So please look at these two once again. I just look at the income statement for that period. For example, I look at only your, right, income statement for the last one period, right? I want to know how much is your pre-tax profit margin. I want to know what is your post-tax profit margin, right? I can simply do that. I can find out what is your profit before tax divided by net sales multiplied by 100. I can also find out what is your profit after income tax divided by net sales, that is your salary, multiplied by 100. Isn't it? Higher the better. So for both the ratios, right? Yeah, there are many other profit margins. We are just introducing, right, financial statement analysis to you. So right now this is what you can do using your, right, income statement data. Sometimes managers are said to be managing only income statement. That means they are working only for profit, okay? They don't bother about other two financial statements, namely cash flow statement and balance sheet, right? Which is not right, right? You should focus on everything, right? Yeah. So if you do that, then you are managing the business, right, in a myopic manner, right? So that means you are profit myopic. You want only profit. So that means you look at only income statement for your computation, right? So which is not right, because this is not the holistic performance metric, right? So then what we have to do? We have to go for using the data from both income statement and balance sheet, So there are two things I can introduce you here. First one is asset turnover. That means, right, how many times you have converted the total assets invested in the business into revenue, right? So it's not in percentage, rather it is in number of times. Okay, it's a turnover. Turn means what? How many times you are turning it over, right? How many times you are turning your total assets into revenue is a question you are answering here, right? The higher the asset turn, the better is your efficiency in terms of utilizing the asset, right? Yeah, so higher the better. The next one is return on equity, ROE. Okay, so it is expressed in percentage. Formula is this: PAT by owner's equity multiplied by 100. PAT is nothing but your net income in rupees divided by owner's equity in rupees multiplied by 100. Higher the better. For every 100 rupee of owner's equity, how much is the profit you are generating from the business is a question you are answering, right? So that means higher the ROE, better is the performance of the entity, right? So that means what have I done here? I have introduced you guys to performance assessment metric using data only from income statement, right? Pre-tax ROS, post-tax ROS, using data from income statement and balance sheet, two sample ratios, asset turn and ROE. Okay, you can also use data from cash flow statement. You can use data from all three statement. Okay, we are going to discuss about that later, right? So that's it, guys. So in this video we have answered 4 questions, namely what is a balance sheet, what are the contents of balance sheet, what are assets, what are the types of assets, what are liabilities, what are the types of liabilities, what are the contents of owner's equity. We have also answered the question what is an income statement, what is the other name for income statement, right? What are the contents of income statement, what is the difference between revenue and gains, what is the difference between expense and loss, and what are the different revenue recognition methods. We also discuss about the linkage between income statement and balance sheet, right, wherein we concluded that the output of income statement becomes one of the inputs to balance sheet. And in the last question we introduced you to the performance metrics using data from income statement only, using data from both income statement and balance sheet. Okay, as I told you, we just introduced this topic. These are all not the complete list, so we are going to discuss about this, right, in detail in the, right, later on, I mean in the future classes, right? Yeah, that's it, guys. So see you in the next video, right?